Outdoors Cooking Edition. This is our little video of a kitchen cooking edition. I'm going to turn it over to my assistant, my beautiful assistant, Vanna White. That's not Vanna White. She's going to tell you what's on the menu today and what we're canning and what we're making. And I'll pretty much be following her on this because she's got the
recipe
stuff set up here.
We're doing peach jalapeno jam, and we have jalapenos from the garden, not peaches from the garden. The peaches are from the store. These
are small jalapenos. I should have let them grow a little bit bigger, but
I didn't. Choose more.
Yeah, well, they're just tiny little itty bitty things. So.
Yeah. So I got the recipe off Pinterest. Nothing special. We're gonna use little jars. We'll probably save these and give them as Christmas gifts or something because we don't need. I mean, this is 18 jars. We don't need 18 jars of peach jalapeno jam. So we'll probably save them for Christmas gifts and whatnot. So this is the first time we've ever made any kind of jams or jellies or anything like that.
Preservation room.
So we'll see how it goes. First thing we got to do, according to the recipe, is prepare the jars and lids. So we got to boil them.
That's really easy. You can boil them. We actually have our little stuff up here to grab a hold of the lids and whatever else.
We've canned things
the jars.
before.
We've canned plenty of things.
Just never jellies.
We've done our own spaghetti sauce before, which is phenomenal, which we're actually going to do here in probably
after
tomorrow.
This or tomorrow.
Yeah, probably tomorrow, which we might do a video on that. This is good to grab the jars out once you can them.
Out of boiling hot water.
Yeah, and this is a little magnet. It's good to grab the lids and the
rings.
What she said, out of the water so you don't burn yourself and look like an idiot. You got your little funnel. So it's all kind of like a little kit that we got. So
some of it was in the that stuff was in the kit, and then just little labels so we know what we canned. Yeah. This is pectin. We need the pectin for the jelly. Sugar. We've got our peaches, butter, jalapenos, and lemon juice. And I think that's it. So we put just a couple inches of water. This is a canning pot we got from Walmart. And it's got a little thing in here so that you can get your jars out. It makes it a little bit easier.
It called for 4 to 5 inches of water.
Depending on how big your jars are.
So you can sterilize your jars and your lids and whatnot.
So we'll just sit all the jars in the pot, and then so I'm just opening them all up. And then if you've never canned before, you've got the jar rings and then the little jar lid, and this is like a little sticky. Sometimes you can reuse them, sometimes not. These are all brand new, but you can buy these separate so that you can actually reuse your mason jars.
What'd she say?
I'll let our helper just woke up from her nap. Say hi.
All hell's about to break loose now. Come on.
It might not be as easy to get this done now. You can help?
No.
What are these?
You gonna cry or you gonna help?
What are those? Are they peaches?
Yeah.
Yeah? You want to bite of one?
Yeah.
We need little lids.
Yummy, yummy. Is that good? Yum. So the recipe calls for 3.5 pounds of peaches. So that's 3 pounds, 4 ounces worth of peaches right there. So that's close enough. And then 2 medium jalapenos. So these are pretty itty bitty. They're maybe an 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So we figured maybe 4 of these to equal what a medium jalapeno would be. So we've got our little pile here. So I'm going to go ahead and dice up the jalapenos really small. Take the seeds out. We don't really want the seeds in them. And then we've got a pot of water boiling on the stove to blanch the peaches. This cranky back here. To blanch the peaches. So once that boils, we'll put the peaches in and you just put them in the water for a few seconds, and then you put them in an ice bath, and then the skin just peels right off. And then we'll slice those up. Okay, so we boiled the peaches. That's done. And then we've got them in cold water. The thing you want to do before you boil them, same thing if you're doing tomatoes, if you cut a slice in the skin, that way it can just kind of peel off, and it just peels off. Right like that. Super easy.
You're so good.
Peels right off there.
We got
there's a peeled peach.
There's a peeled peach.
You don't want to boil them too long because then they get nasty and mushy. So Long enough, but not too long.
We got the rings all done. Those are boiled for sterilization, and the jars are finished. She has already chopped jalapenos, so those are there. There's 2 naked peaches.
So all the jalapenos are chopped, peaches are peeled. Next thing we have to do is chop the peaches, well, slice the peaches, it says, and then boil everything. So I'm going to go ahead and put the jalapenos in the pot so that I've got room to chop Slice up all the peaches. They're in the pot with the jalapenos on the stove. Next we have to add the lemon juice and the sugar, and then you boil it all and cook it for like half an hour. So we have to do 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So I've got a bottle of lemon juice. Do it over here.
Get over here.
Over here.
So 1/4 cup of lemon juice in the pot. And then it calls for 7.5 cups of sugar. 7.5.
What are you doing?
That's a lot of sugar.
You're doing right, that's a lot of sugar. Where'd all the fruit go? It's gone.
So I turn it on. We just have to boil it. It says bring peaches to the boil, stir often, cook until the peaches are tender for about 30 minutes over medium heat. I just turned it to medium. It says that if the mixture starts to foam, that's when you add your butter. So if it starts to get foamy, you add a tablespoon of butter. And then if it still foams, add the 2nd tablespoon. And you shouldn't need any more than that. And once the peaches are tender, you stir in the pectin.
Which is this stuff.
And then you boil it for like a minute, and then you just start to put it in the jars then. So it takes about 30
This is a little
minutes.
this is better than the
powder. Yeah, I read that it's better to use the liquid pectin than the powdered pectin. So it just says this called for 1 pouch of liquid. So let's open this and see what we've got going on. Yeah, so it's just pouches. So we put 1 whole pouch of this. And then the other thing that we're going to go ahead and do, because once the stuff is in the jars, we have to actually can it. So we need the water boiling. So I put water back in our big canning pot, and you need enough to cover, like once they're sitting down in there, it has to cover the lid, so I think I've got enough. I don't know, I've got about half. And then I'll go ahead and turn that on because it'll take it a while.
This is what it looks like. Madison's playing like peekaboo. Right there. Boo. Boo. This is what it looks like. Oh gosh, there goes my pot.
Knock the pot off the burner.
Hold my pot for me. That's what it looks like. All little jalapenos. The amount of sugar that you put in. Very thick, but very beautiful looking.
So once it boils, we'll set our timer for 30 minutes. Once it starts to boil, and let it cook away. Okay, so this stuff is cooked. It's been about 30 minutes. Looks a little different than when we first started. So then we put the whole packet of pectin in. And then it takes 1 minute. And then we're done. And we can start to fill our jars. I think it's easier to use a little ladle. Get a little ladle. And then we've got our funnel.
That should work. This is definitely a little bit of a lengthy process, but it's well worth it
It's
in
fun.
the end. You get to hang out and make delicious jams and jellies. Always fun. Have Christmas gifts already made in the middle, right at the end of June. And this stuff will be good. So, throw these lids on here and get them all prepared. Hand tighten them down. We're going to throw them in the canner. That's doing its thing over here. Let them sit for a few minutes, and we'll take them off and then set them on the counter, and you hear like a popping sound. That's when it's actually sealing the lid on the cans themselves, on the jars. So this is what we have. As you can see, 1 big jar, a bunch of little jars. We're going to set them in there for a little bit of time and let them can and do their thing.
I didn't buy enough.
Oh! Alright, so we are all done. And you want to get a shot of that? And it's super hot, so I'm not scared to put my hand in boiling water. I got tough hands.
Let's use the pot holders.
But I'll use a pot holder to grab it. But I've done put my hand in scalding hot water. And that's not really good feeling steam coming off there, off the, you can already hear it kind of popping a little bit. So we're just going to kind of leave them chill right there for now. And they're going to pop, do the thing. Yep, see? They're going to pop. They're going to be Christmas gifts. Oh, Papa.
Sounds like we're playing Treble.
It's a pop. It's a pop.
It's popping.
Is it like Mary Poppins?
It's Mary Poppins.
It's Mary Poppins.
Is it Mary Poppins though? Is it Mary Poppins?
But it's popping.
How poppin' is a Mary Poppins? It's another pop. You hear the pop?
Yes, and it sounds like Mary Poppins.
How does Mary Poppins pop? Does she go, or does she pop like a high-pitched pop?
It doesn't even make
How does
any sense.
I know, it doesn't make no sense at all, but she's popping.
Yeah, she's Mary Poppins.
So the jars are going to pop. We're going to give them away as a Christmas gift. That's our peach and the
Mary
jalapeno.
Poppins.
Peach and jalapeno jelly. Thank you for watching this episode of Almost Outdoors. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe. See ya!